a woman in Brazil claimed to have seen a half-man, half-wolf. This would not be an isolated incident. It was just the beginning of a nightmare werewolf panic in several regions of Brazil. A day later, a 12-year-old boy came forward and told police that he saw a terrifying figure lurking outside his house. In both cases, the monster involved was described as very ugly and smelling of sulfur. The events continued to escalate 3 days later when the police received 2 reports of werewolf-like creatures stealing local sheep and breaking into several houses. It seemed more likely to him that there were common criminals who used werewolf masks to frighten the villagers. Police were looking for a group of criminals who acted like Scooby-Doo villains rather than hunting werewolves, calling those who reported seeing a monster innocent and naive. As the news of these strange occurrences spreads, some people started calling Cuiabá the werewolf capital of South America. Early that year, another mysterious creature caused panic among the citizens. A humanoid simply known as the Black Caped Man was on a nightly rampage. Very little is known about this brief hysteria, but deputies decided that the reports were just folklore, and his men had more important things to attend to. Attacked by a very strange animal, she described it as looking like a large dog, but standing on its hind legs and walking like a human, claiming the monster scratched her face and arms. Less than a year ago, police once again ignored suspicions that a violent criminal was walking around in a monster costume. A fourth and final incident, apparently involving werewolves. The witness, Marcos, several nights before the encounter, he heard strange sounds from the lake valley. One of his friends who lived near him in the same valley was a shepherd and had lost 2 of his sheep in recent days. No remains were found at the scene, but large dog tracks were left in the mud at the edge of the lake. He and this angry shepherd decided to join forces and wait for the night to look for the source of sounds in case they came back. It was around 11 p.m. when the strange growls began coming from the swampy area on Marcos' property. Both men carried weapons and hoped to capture the pest, which they believed to be a wild dog or coyote. They had never seen one of these animals in the many years they had lived in the area. But hey, what else could it be? As the men moved closer and closer to the dark swamp, a creature that was more than 2 meters tall rose between them, standing among the weeds. It was hard to see in the dark, but both witnesses immediately concluded that they had seen a werewolf. The creature looked like a man, but had the head and torso of a large dog. Shocked and horrified by this completely unexpected sight, Marcos fired once at the monster. It was unsuccessful, and it made a hasty escape. The 2 men stood there in stunned silence. It then ran out of the weeds towards them on all 4s. It quickly approached its intended prey. It was so close to Marcos that if the shepherd made any move against it, he had to deliberately miss to avoid hitting Marcos accidentally. Frightened by the weapon firing, the werewolf turned and ran back towards the valley. The 2 witnesses spent another few weeks hunting for the monster, but never heard it again. Some of the locals that they told about it suggest that they had encountered a werewolf. The local authorities refused to search for the creature.